Welcome to Writing Assignment 2.06 Overview, Volumes of Prisms and Cylinders. In this writing assignment, we are going to talk about Mr. Gill's saltwater pool. Here are your sentence starters. So the question that you're finding in your writing assignment is that Mr. Gill has an in-ground saltwater pool with dimensions as shown on the diagram. How can you find the volume of Mr. Gill's pool and what is the volume? If 1 cubic foot contains 7.48 gallons of water, how can you determine how many gallons of water Mr. Gill's pool holds? Mr. McGill's Mr. McGill fills his pool with fresh water and then adds salt. He needs 0.03 pounds of salt per gallon of water, and he buys salt in a 40-pound bag. How can you determine how many bags of salt Mr. McGill needs to buy? Your sentence starters look like this. Mr. McGill's pool is 4 foot by 22 foot. The volume formula is volume equals pi times radius squared times height. I can replace what I know to find the volume of the pool, which is, go ahead and fill in that information. The volume times the gallons of water will give me the amount of water in the pool, which is, tell me how many gallons. Now, keep in mind, this is going to be a very big number. This pool, even though this diagram doesn't look like it, this pool is 4 feet deep. Miss Wattis is 5 foot tall. So if Miss Wattis was hanging out on the pool right here, only her head's going to stick out. The rest of her body's going to be down here and she's going to be standing in the pool. All right, so this pool being 4 feet, only my head's going to stick out. That's how tall this pool is. All right. Okay. So now Mr. McGill needs 0.03 pounds of salt for every 1 gallon. So how much salt is he going to need? And keep in mind that he has to buy the whole bag. He can't buy half of a bag. So you're going to round up to a whole number here. So let's look at each one of these, and we can look at it just like we do in Desmos in the classroom. So the formula for the volume of a cylinder is V equals, actually, let's see if I can use my calculator on this. Oh, that's going to be super cool. So it's V equals pi r squared times height. So I'm going to put that into my calculator right here, and then I'm going to hit enter. Now I can go ahead and plug in what I know. So notice that right here, that is my radius. So I can say radius is equal to 11, and I can plug that into my calculator, and I see that my height of my pool is 4 feet. So I can say H is equal to 4. Now that gave me my volume right inside of my calculator. I'm going to go ahead and round that to 2 decimal places just to make my life easy. So I'm going to take that volume right there and I'm going to plug it into my next slide. I'm still going to use my calculator and I'm going to use what I used for the volume. Okay, so this tells me that for every cubic foot, I can multiply my volume 7.48 gallons. So think about 7.48 gallons. If you had one of those buckets, those 5-gallon buckets, that's more than one of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say that my volume, or actually I'm going to say the water. Okay, so the water is going to be equal to my volume times 7.48. Let me see if I can move this over just a little bit so you can see. Okay, there we go. So now that gave me a huge, ginormous number. Like we're talking over 10,000 gallons of water. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the next slide. He needs 0.03 pounds of salt per gallon. So I'm going to take this number and I'm going to multiply it to my water. So notice this is how I found how many gallons I need. Now I'm going to take that number, whatever the number for the water was, and I'm going to multiply it times 0.03. Okay, so once I do that, then I know how much salt Mr. McGill needs. And I can use that number divided by 40 to find out how many bags. So in looking at this number right here, this is how much salt I need. I can say that this is equal to my salt. And now I can take my salt and multiply it, or I'm sorry, divide it by 40. Now, that's going to give me 8.5 bags of salt. But here's the deal. He has to buy the whole bag. Mr. McGill can't just buy half of the bag. So we're going to round that up to 9 bags of salt. Now you have everything that you need to fill in each of these answers using this right here as your sentence. Starters. As always, if you have any questions, please send me a text, an email, or give me a call.